Hello, everybody. Alex here. Have I got a treat for you tonight? I just found this film again. I found this film the first time in 2008 on YouTube. I've been a watcher of YouTube for a decade, and I'm going on over 9 years since I first saw this film, and I just watched it again tonight. I just got to the first hour and paused it, and just realized as I was watching it that every single thing this narrator said now to me made sense, and I knew what he was talking about, and I have the references and the names and the research and the study, and I know how it all fits together. But 9 years ago when I first saw it, it blew me away. I was watching this film and thinking, what am I watching? This is like some kind of Illuminati initiation film. Is this good or bad? Is this made for like your eye worshiping Luciferians, to drag them off into hell and drag them out of Christianity? And I didn't realize until the very end of the movie where it says it's time to wake up. This movie was made by people who were in the know, who have been initiated, who have all of this knowledge, that are telling you it's time to wake up, and that you need to know what's happened from the very beginning of time. Not from time, but the very beginning of creation of the human race. At least, they say there are 4 or 5 races that have existed on Earth before us. We're what do they call us? The 4th root race? Where you grow and expand until you get to civilization, and to be an advanced civilization, and you're wiped out by some catastrophe, fire, flood, earthquakes, collision, and asteroids, whatever, and then a new race has started. There have definitely been other beings on our planet. You look through archaeology and see the ruins that are on our planet. There have been all kinds of things going on this planet for 200,000, 400,000 years at least, And our written history that we accept now, like as Christians, Muslims, and Hebrews, is the Hebrew version of the Sumerian record of the Era Epos and the Lamentations of Sumer. And beyond that, we really don't know. And we've got all these. What about the Chinese? Today, you've got your organized secret societies, which are run. There's basically 2 groups. You've got your black nobility and your red dragons. Okay, your black nobility is your Rome, London, Washington D.C., your royal families, your Jesuits, your Bavarian Illuminati, your Society of Jesus from the Basque Country. You've got the Ashkenazis and the Khazars. And then now lately you've got the Rothschild banking system, which is spread across the earth. So you've had the black nobility taking across the earth, and you have the mafia, Marseille and Sicily. And you have, on the other side of the earth, you have the red dragons. It's like the checkerboard. You have the blacks and the reds. And today what we're seeing is the black nobility is giving up a lot of their power to the winning red dragons, which are the mafia of the Asian half of the world, which are starting to rule now. So I didn't know any of this stuff before when I first saw this movie. Anyway, let me get right to it. But when you watch it, you're going to think it especially when you see the blue lady that's all painted and she's topless and she's got the onks on her breasts and she's kind of attractive. If anybody knows her, please hook me up. I'm kidding. But when you first watch this movie and you see, you might be a little scared. It's so much mess. It's so much information, and when it drops on you, you realize it's true. You just get a little heavy, like, what am I watching? Like, should I turn this off? You feel like you're being initiated. This is your soft initiation into the secret societies, into what we're called in the Garden of Eden story, the guardians, and what they've done on Earth for the last 4,000 to 6,000 years to all of mankind. How they've ruled us with the 6 points of control over mankind, which are religion, medicine, education, military, government / economics, and I said military, government, economics, banking. So religion is actually another form of government. It's all mind control. Govern the mind, government. Anyway, I'm not going to digress. Let's get into this movie. I'm going to just give you a teaser of what this movie starts out as and what it says, and you're going to like it, and you're going to go look it up. This is from a YouTube channel called Marvin that I got it from, but I've found it on several other channels. It keeps getting deleted, and then it reappears on different people's channels. I've had it in my playlist. It's in my playlist now if you look at my playlist on the Alex Aquarius channel. But it has a tendency to disappear because it is exposing the secret societies of the world since the guardians of the Garden of Eden. I mean, it goes way back. The movie is almost 6 hours long, and it goes all the way up through World War I, World War II. If you've seen my video on Albert Pike's letter to Giuseppe Mazzini and the plans for World War I, World War II, and World War III, it covers that. It goes through Hitler. It goes all the way to the present day. But when it starts, it's all the way back to when the Galactic Brotherhood and the Brotherhood of Light and the Order of Melchizedek came to Earth, which could be what we're talking about today, the Saturnians. I'm not going to digress into it, but let me start it for you and let's watch, okay? I'm going to shut up here. Let me click out of some of these screens I got going on my computer and shut off my sound.
Aeons ago, brothers from outer space, under the spiritual guidance of the Masters of Wisdom, the creators of the universe, came to Earth and settled in the core of the planet. Their task was to prepare the surface of the planet for the development of higher forms of biological life, and for the reincarnation of souls destroyed in the atomic explosion, which had shattered the planet Melona, Lucifer, located between Jupiter and Mars. These higher supralight bodies, completed humans, knew the divine hierarchy's mysteries of creation. They were aware of the planet's inner logos, whose consciousness gave birth to unique soul groups, each able to incarnate at different times. Depending on their specific stage of development in each period, human souls incarnate in order to further their growth. They choose very specific life experiences through thousands of incarnations until they reach completion as human beings. In the beginning, our brothers from outer space built cities in the center of the earth. Agartha, the Garden of Eden, was created, and many collaborators of the Galactic Confederation came voluntarily to Earth. All colors and races of humanoids contributed their genetic material, as well as their plant and animal species, to this biological genesis. In the creation plan of the Cosmic Father, the Earth was considered a suitable living space planetarium, which would produce a universal humanoid, able to overcome all polarities and a diversity of climatic zones. Until that point in time, there had been a great diversity of non-humanoid species taking part in the development of souls. The differences were so great that the souls had extreme difficulty reincarnating into the bodies of other star systems. Therefore, the cosmic purpose was to establish a new experimental zone of creation, synthesizing all souls into a universal body type. The Galactic Confederation and its leaders, the Melchizedek Order, the Brothers of Light, descended to Earth to introduce a new type of human being and a planetary pregnancy. They created the human species in their own image and assisted in its genetic improvement. I'm a specialist in extraterrestrial visits that took place thousands of years ago. Our ancestors did not understand these visitors. They thought there were some gods. They did try to copy the technology of the heavenly creatures. Of course, not correctly, not the function of the technique. A Stone Age man who sees a car, for example, cannot reproduce a car, but he can draw it. He can carve it into rock. He can carve it into hide. All went well according to plan until the downfall of the angels. The reincarnating animal-like humans were improved through direct genetic intervention, and in a short time span developed suitable bodies. The bodies of these creations became perfect in such a short time that souls from Bellona, Lucifer, Venus and Mars, who in past times had already gone through cycles of incarnation and creation, were now able to reincarnate on Earth in order to attain completion. From that time on, two types of humans inhabited the planetarium Earth. The true immortal and physically etheric beings in the center of the Earth, who watched over creation and its evolution, and the mortal creations who purified themselves through reincarnation and developed towards human beings. In accordance with the plan, human beings brought forward civilizations which rose and fell. Different soul groups gathered their experiences in these civilizations. However, the guardians of evolution, also called angels, seemingly took the power into their own hands. They saw how beautiful their creations had become. Some of these extraterrestrials from outer space were tempted by the earthly kings who were always offering them gifts, including beautiful women and even their own daughters. Some of the emissaries of the Confederation gave in to temptation. The beings from outer space physically procreated children with the reincarnated beings. This was the only action forbidden by the Elohim. From then on, they had to give up their status of impartiality and immortality. They were banished from the inside of the earth, from Agartha, the Garden of Eden. From then on, they had lost their eternal youth and their androgyny. The inner closed cosmos of a complete human being, through the union of the soul and the body's personality, suffered a separation. They were thus condemned to a fall and a return to the process of human evolution. There is a time when the old female Indians tell in the Sanskrit texts that 3 of their Indian cities have circulated around the earth, and the 3 cities are described in detail. The one belongs to God X, the other to God Y, the third to God Z. They are described colorfully in the meeting halls. They're described as manas. These are little vehicles which have come down to earth from these heavenly cities, and often people were given a privilege. They were taken along by the so-called gods, the teachers, in the heavenly cities. And truly, the heavenly cities are described in all detail. But then an argument broke out between the gods. One was called Siva, not the Shiva. The Siva with a C-I. This Siva had, because some so-called evil spirits had settled in one of the heavenly cities, destroyed it, and he did it with a devastating beam. It is described how the city fell to the ground, fell into the Earth's atmosphere, and finally in rubble onto the Earth. And it looked as though splinters of a meteor had fallen to Earth. Yet all this was part of the Creator's plan, and these souls have made a voluntary sacrifice for the maturing humankind in order to provide it with a light on its path to becoming human and to the Godly Father. And the Universal Spirit offers the truth of life through divine inspiration. In Atlantis lived the fourth root race, which had reached the pinnacle of its development. Its divinely inspired scientists had acquired the secrets of universal energy. At that time, scientists and divinely inspired masters worked together to draw harmonic technologies out of the spiritual reservoir of the universal Akashic records. For a long time, power and love were united. Human beings did not have an ego separate from the higher self. Humankind experienced a blossoming in all branches of science and in space exploration. Almost all illnesses were curable, and people often lived to a very old age.
All right.
They had
Do you hear him talking about resonance and harmonic frequencies and being in tune? The key to everything, folks, is vibration. It's all about frequency and vibration. If you want to get to another dimension, if you want to get to where you're invisible, if you want to get to a higher state of consciousness, it's all about raising your vibration and your energies up to the higher chakras. Whether you're New Age or not, and I'm Christian. I'm a cross-free Christian because I believe Jesus survived his crucifixion for 4.5 hours and had a near-death experience, and his people rolled away the stone, and he went to India, and after that, all over the world. He's got records of being in China, but I digress. I'm not going to talk about that. But I'm a Christian, folks, if you're looking at my message. All of the religions of the world need to go back to this information of who started the world and who created the information that led the civilizations of the world and the different races created on the surface to try to live in harmony, and then ended up warring against each other. And what's going on today with banks and governments and religions to control each other and try to win. Somebody's got to win, somebody's got to lose. This mentality that we have on Earth has to stop. That's why now we're in the Aquarian age. The Piscean age of the last 2,150 years until December 21st, 2012 is over with, and we've entered the age of Aquarius. And so Aquarius is the age of the water bearer, where the water bearer pours out the knowledge on the earth, and everyone is enlightened, and we all rise up in vibration and live a whole new state of consciousness and a whole different life on this earth. And that's why I called my channel Alex Aquarius. So I'm Christian, but I'm not. People may scoff and say, oh, he's new agey and you're deceived and the Bible is the Word of God. I go way down the rabbit hole past the Hebrew version of the Era Epos and the Lamentations of Sumer and things that you call the Old Testament, okay? I go way back beyond that. So you can't trip me there. Anyway, I hope you loved this introduction to the legend of Atlantis. Maybe some of you or who were watching this have already seen this film, but go watch it. It's a required video to watch. It's almost 6 hours long. Just like knowing about your Admiralty Maritime Law, your Georgia Guidestones, reading the protocols of the learned elders of Zion, you have to watch The Legend of Atlantis. That's the exposing film that shows you how the secret societies in the Illuminati and the New World Order of today have taken over the earth and what they're doing and where they got their power from and where they originated from. So I hope you'd enjoy it. Please go look it up. This is from a YouTube channel called Marvin, where I got it. It appears on several channels sometimes, and I see it in different fractions and divisions, and sometimes it's in a series of. One time I saw it in 22 pieces on YouTube videos that were all numbered. This one's all in one, almost 6 hours. It disappears a lot. YouTube takes it down. Google takes it down. They don't like this information getting out to people. So read it while you can. Get your initiation. Get your soft initiation into the secrets of mankind. But I hope you enjoy it. I'm Alex. And go watch it. Have fun. Bye.